Fame in R&B can come overnight, but losing it can happen in a single moment. One bad decision, one arrest, one breakdown, one act of rage that nobody saw coming, and suddenly the lights go out. These 10 artists had everything. Chart-topping records, sold-out tours, voices that could stop a room cold. And then, in a flash, sometimes in the space of a single second, it all collapsed. Look out! These are not stories of slow fades or changing tastes. These are stories of moments, the exact second a career started burning down. And every single fact has been verified. Let's get into it. Number 10, Wilson Pickett. Mustang Sally, 1966. Number 10, and we start with the Wicked Pickett. Wilson Pickett was one of the most ferocious voices in soul history. In the Midnight Hour, Land of a Thousand Dances, Funky Broadway, and yes, Mustang Sally. He had more than 50 singles on the U.S. R&B charts. For a stretch in the mid-1960s, nobody in soul was hotter. But Pickett had another reputation. The nickname wasn't just marketing. The man was genuinely volatile off stage. His legal trouble started in 1974, arrested for brandishing a gun in New York. Then in 1987, a loaded shotgun found in his car. Then in 1991, he drunkenly drove his pickup truck over the front lawn of the mayor of Englewood, New Jersey, yelling threats into the street. He offered to perform a benefit concert in exchange for dropped charges. The judge agreed. Then in 1992, he struck an 86-year-old pedestrian with his car. Police found 6 empty miniature vodka bottles and 6 empty beer cans on the floor of his vehicle. The man died. Pickett pleaded guilty to drunk driving. He received a year in jail and 5 years probation. A week after that verdict, he threatened to have his live-in girlfriend killed and hurled a vodka bottle at her. The judge ordered him out of his own home. The voice that had screamed across Muscle Shoals spent the last decade of his career in courtrooms rather than concert halls. He died in 2006. Still a legend, but one who wasted the back half of a brilliant career one rage-fueled night at a time. Number 9, Etta James. I'd Rather Go Blind, 1967. Etta James had a voice that could make a room go silent in 3 seconds. At last. Tell Mama, something's got a hold on me. By the time she recorded I'd Rather Go Blind in 1967, she was at the absolute peak of her powers. Beyoncé was eventually chosen to portray her on film. That's the kind of voice we are talking about. But by that same year, heroin had already become the center of Etta James's life. She later described her addiction with brutal clarity, saying she was sick 80% of the time, either high or scrambling for a fix.
My soul said, "Go on and cry, girl."
She forged prescriptions, bounced checks, stole from friends. In 1964, she and a friend ran a bad check scheme at hotels in New York City. Got caught, did time on Rikers Island, then arrested again in Chicago for drug possession and more bad checks.
Then to see you walk away.
When when she was arrested for heroin possession in Manhattan, her own record company refused to pay her bail. They figured a jail stay might sober her up.
I don't want to watch you leave.
She arrived at recording sessions so intoxicated she could barely stand, then walked to the microphone and still delivered.
Now listen.
Her husband, Artis, took the fall for a joint heroin possession charge. He served 10 years in prison so she could stay free. 10 years for her habit.
About your sweet kiss.
Chess Records eventually terminated her contract. She spent most of the 1970s fighting addiction.
That was on my face.
It took until 1988, over 20 years later, before she fully came back with 7-Year Itch.
Reveal the tears.
The song says she'd rather go blind than watch her love walk away. She didn't go blind, but she spent 2 decades barely seeing what she was throwing away.
Listen, 90% of you watching right now aren't subscribed yet. If these stories are blowing your mind, imagine what you're missing. Hit subscribe, turn on that bell, and join the 200,000 R&B fans who never miss a Groove Lens upload.
Number 8, Sly Stone, Family Affair, 1971. Sly Stone stood in the mud at Woodstock in August 1969 and gave one of the most electrifying performances in music history.
Yeah.
Sly and the Family Stone, a multiracial mixed-gender band in an America still tearing itself apart, played I Want to Take You Higher at 3:30 in the morning and woke the entire festival up.
This is my uncle.
2 years later, everything was gone. By 1970, Sly was missing 1/3 of his scheduled concerts. Not late, not rescheduled, just gone.
Mom loves the boat.
He moved the whole operation into a Beverly Hills mansion where recording sessions became non-stop drug parties.
Somebody you just love to burn.
He carried his supply in a violin case on tour. He surrounded himself with former gang members who functioned as management and bodyguards. He was on cocaine and PCP daily. He obsessively recorded tracks onto the master tape, then erased them, then recorded again. The master tape physically began to disintegrate from the constant abuse. The degraded, smearing sound you hear on There's a Riot Going On is literally what drugs did to the recording itself. The tape couldn't survive what he was putting into his body.
Ain't nobody wanna be left out.
Family Affair hit #1 in 1971. But the band that played Woodstock no longer existed. Key members quit or were fired. Hitman rumors surfaced. The lawsuits followed.
Your heart is there, and you can't stay.
Sly spent the next 2 decades in and out of drug rehabilitation, prison, and complete isolation. He was eventually found living in a camper van in Los Angeles, barely visible to the world that once worshipped him.
It's a family affair.
The man who told an entire generation to stand couldn't stand himself. He passed away in June 2025 at the age of 82.
It's a family affair.
Number 7, Jackie Wilson, Lonely Teardrops, 1958. And this is not a story of bad decisions. This one is a pure tragedy. Jackie Wilson had a 4-octave vocal range, the stage presence of a man possessed, and moves that nobody in the music world had seen before. Reet Petite, higher and higher. I Get the Sweetest Feeling, more than 50 chart singles. Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, and Prince all publicly named him as the performer who changed their lives forever. On September 29, 1975, Wilson was on stage at the Latin Casino in New Jersey performing Lonely Teardrops, his very first #1 hit.
Say you will, say you will.
When he sang the line, "My heart is crying," he clutched his chest and collapsed on stage. The audience thought it was part of the act. It always had been. He didn't get up. Then Cornell Gunter from the Coasters reached him first and performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, almost certainly saving his life, technically speaking. But when Wilson's head hit the stage floor, he suffered severe brain damage. He fell into a coma from which he would never fully recover. He spent the next 8.5 years institutionalized. 8.5 years. His only form of communication was the blinking of his eyes. While he lay there, his manager, later convicted in federal court, was found to have stolen over $1 million in royalties owed to him. Wilson died owing the IRS $300,000. He was buried without a headstone, just a plot marker stamped B261. His gravestone now reads, "No more lonely teardrops." He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, 3 years after he died. He never knew. Number 6, Ika Turner, Proud Mary, 1971.
Rough. This is the way we do.
Before the revelations, before the film, before the world knew the full story, Ike Turner was genuinely respected as a musical architect. A Fool in Love, River Deep Mountain High, and in 1971, the thunderous cover of Proud Mary earned Ike and Tina Turner their only Grammy Award.
I left a good job.
But behind the spectacle, Ike Turner had been building a very different legacy for over 15 years.
Proud Mary, keep on.
Tina Turner revealed in her 1981 People magazine interview, and later in her autobiography, I, Tina, that the abuse had begun almost from the very start.
And I'm sleeping 'cause I was worried about the way.
He beat her before shows, after shows, sometimes right between sets, and sent her back on stage. She attempted suicide in 1968.
Good side of the city till I hear.
She endured all of it because she had no money, no independence, and believed she had nowhere to run.
But I never saw.
On July 1st, 1976, she finally left. After a physical fight in a car on the way to a Dallas hotel, she stepped out onto the road with 36 cents and a mobile gas card.
It's to ride on the riverboat queen.
She asked for nothing in the divorce settlement, just her performing name, just Tina Turner. Without her, Ike's career was finished within months. He battled cocaine addiction for years. He died of an overdose in 2007. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1991 while he was in prison. Tina was inducted again as a solo artist in 2021, long after his death. The recognition that was always hers, alone. She promised audiences they'd start nice and easy. And the end? The end was rough, just like she always said it would be. Number 5, Marvin Gaye, Here My Dear, 1978.
This is what you want.
And this is the strangest downfall on this entire list. By 1976, Marvin Gaye was one of the most important artists in the history of American music.
Way that was, baby.
What's going on? Let's get it on. I heard it through the grapevine. A genius on every level. Untouchable.
I don't think I'll have.
He was also completely broke. He owed his ex-manager over $2 million. He had filed for bankruptcy.
Something I can't do without.
The IRS had shut down his recording studio on Sunset Boulevard, and his first wife, Anna Gordy, the sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy, was suing him for divorce and demanding $1 million.
But there were those other moments too.
An arrest warrant had been issued for his failure to pay court-ordered alimony. Marvin spent several days physically hiding from the law. His attorney devised a plan.
I hope you enjoy.
As Marvin would pay Anna not in cash but in royalties from his next album, $305,000 from Motown's advance, plus the first portion of whatever the album earned.
I'm so happy.
Anna agreed, and so Marvin Gaye went into the studio to record an album he was legally obligated to hand over to the woman he was divorcing. He initially planned to deliver something worthless. Then he changed his mind. He decided to give her the truth instead.
May love ever possess you.
Here, My Dear, a double album, 73 minutes, a forensic dissection of every wound in their marriage. Anna threatened to sue him for invasion of privacy.
This is what you wanted. Here.
It was his lowest charting studio album in a decade. By 1979, the IRS had closed his studio and he was living in a bread van in Belgium. He made his comeback in 1982. Then on April 1st, 1984, the day before his 45th birthday,
May peace come into your life.
his own father shot and killed him. The man who asked what's going on never fully got the answer.
Dear, my dear, here it is.
Number 4, James Brown, I Got You, I Feel Good, 1965. And nobody on this list fell harder from a higher place. James Brown was the Godfather of Soul, the hardest working man in show business. The man who invented funk, who charted 116 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 between 1958 and 1986, who made Live at the Apollo, arguably the greatest live album in history. Then in September 1988, high on PCP, James Brown walked into an insurance seminar in Augusta, Georgia, carrying a shotgun, and demanded to know why someone had used his private bathroom. Police arrived. Brown got in his pickup truck and ran. What followed was a 2-state high-speed chase across Georgia and South Carolina. Officers shot out 3 of his tires. He kept driving on the wheel rims for 6 miles until he crashed into a ditch. He was convicted of aggravated assault and failing to stop for police, sentenced to 6 years and 6 months in prison. The Godfather of Soul became inmate number 155,413 at the State Park Correctional Institute in South Carolina. released in 1991, then arrested again in 1998 on nearly identical charges. Another car chase, another drug arrest, arrested again in 2004 for domestic violence. His FBI file, released after his death, showed Brown claimed police shot his truck over 20 times and punched him while he was handcuffed. That night remains disputed on all sides. What is not disputed is this: the man who gave a generation the words "I feel good" spent his final years making the people around him feel anything but. He died on Christmas Day, 2006. The music was immortal. The man behind it was deeply broken. Number 3, Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, 1964. And the most devastating story on this list. Sam Cooke was more than a singer. He was a civil rights visionary, a businessman ahead of his time, the founder of his own record label, and the author of more than 30 top 40 hits in 8 years.
Somebody keep telling me don't.
Wonderful World, Bring It On Home to Me, Chain Gang, You Send Me. And just before the end, A Change Is Gonna Come. A song so important that Rolling Stone ranked it among the greatest ever written.
A long time coming.
On the night of December 11th, 1964, Sam Cooke was 33 years old. He had just withdrawn $2,500 from the bank to buy Christmas presents.
Oh, a change gonna come.
The details of what happened next remain disputed. What is documented and was admitted in the inquest is that Cooke ended up at a motel in Los Angeles late that night.
To die.
He was shot dead by the motel manager, Bertha Franklin, who claimed self-defense. The coroner ruled it justifiable homicide in less than 2 hours. No charges were ever filed.
Oh, yes it will.
What stunned those closest to Cooke was the speed and the silence of it. Bobby Womack, his protege, later called it one of the most suspicious verdicts he had ever seen.
It's been a long.
Investigators who looked into the case years later discovered that the motel manager had shot and killed another man at that same motel just 6 months before. That detail was never raised at the inquest. Police who first arrived didn't know who the body was. Sam Cooke's wallet had been stolen. He was buried without ever having heard A Change Is Gonna Come played on national radio. It was released posthumously 1 week after his murder. The man who predicted change was gone before the change had a chance to come. Number 2, Al Green, Let's Stay Together, 1972. And this one, nobody saw coming. Al Green was the most sensuous voice in 1970s soul. Let's stay together. Tired of being alone. Here I am. Come and take me. Between 1971 and 1974, he produced 9 consecutive gold albums. Rolling Stone called him the last great practitioner of classic soul. He was untouchable. Then on October 18th, 1974, Al Green was standing in the bathroom of his Memphis home when his girlfriend, Mary Woodson, entered the room. She was carrying a pot of boiling hot grits. She poured them over his back. He suffered severe second-degree burns across a significant portion of his body. Shortly after, Mary Woodson shot and killed herself with his gun in another room of the house. Al Green was rushed to hospital. The physical burns healed. The psychological ones did not. He never fully explained what led to that night, but what followed was unmistakable. Within 2 years, he had been ordained as a pastor and walked away from secular music entirely, at the absolute height of his career.
Come on, help me sing this. Look, turn around and make up.
He left Let's Stay Together behind. He left the Velvet Soul behind. He started preaching at the Full Gospel Tabernacle in Memphis, the church he still leads today.
Look, turn around and make up. Yes, yes.
He did eventually return to secular R&B in the 1980s and won multiple Grammys. But for years, one of the greatest voices ever given to soul music was singing only to God. One pot of boiling grits changed everything. That is not a metaphor. That is exactly what happened on that night in 1974. Number 1, Donny Hathaway, A Song for You, 1971.
I made some bad ones.
And the most heartbreaking story of them all. Donny Hathaway was, in the estimation of many music scholars, the most gifted vocalist and musician of his entire generation.
I know your image.
A Song for You, This Christmas, The Ghetto, Where Is the Love, his breathtaking duet with Roberta Flack. He played every instrument, he arranged, he produced, he composed. Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones, and Marvin Gaye all spoke about him with a reverence they gave to almost no one else. He had grown up singing in church. He had studied music theory at Howard University. He heard music in a way that most trained musicians could barely follow.
Baby, can't you see through me?
He was a once-in-a-generation artist, and most people in the general public never knew his name. He also heard voices, and not the kind anyone around him could understand. Donny Hathaway had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. He believed people were conspiring to steal his music. He became unable to perform, unable to record, unable to function in the industry he had given so much to.
You taught me precious.
He was in and out of psychiatric hospitals throughout the mid-1970s. On January the 13th, 1979, Roberta Flack had returned to New York to discuss recording a second duets album with Hathaway.
I treated you unkindly.
They had dinner together that evening. Everything seemed fine. That night, Donny Hathaway fell from the 15th floor of the Essex House Hotel in New York City. He was 33 years old.
Darling, can't you see? There's no one more important.
The glass in his hotel room window had been removed. The cause of death was ruled a suicide. No note was ever found. A Song for You was written about giving everything you have, every note, every breath, every honest emotion, to music and to the person you love. Nobody gave more.
You in a place where there's no space or time.
His career didn't end in a courtroom or a car chase. It ended quietly, in the dark, in a city that didn't yet know what it had lost. We still don't fully know what we lost that night.
We were alone.
10 artists, 10 voices that could have lasted forever, and 10 moments, arrests, addictions, breakdowns, betrayals that cut short what should have been endless careers. Some of them recovered, some of them came back. Some of them left us far too soon with unfinished albums and stories the world is still trying to piece together. but the music remains. Every single note. Hit subscribe and drop us in the comments. Which story hit you the hardest? And which artist do you think the world forgot too quickly?